Welcome back to On Base Live in your Bleacher Report app. I am your host, Mookie Betts, and today we have my boy Lars Nootbaar. The first Cardinal on the show. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. That's cool. I could have guessed that, but it's cool to officially hear that.
So I remember, when I first started, you came up to me and said you had watched it. And then you didn't really want to come on the show. Why didn't you really want to do it at the time, bro?
I was still hesitant this time around, but I just felt like I hadn't done anything, and that was, I think, in 22 when you guys came to St. Louis, and I said that to you. You just don't want to be that guy that's, fresh in second year being like, oh yeah, I'm on Mookie's podcast coming in. And that year too, we still have Nato. Goldie's MVP year. We got Albert going for 700. It was this little, rookie going on.
That makes sense. I get in the unwritten rule space of baseball. Yeah, that definitely fell into it. So shout out to you for following that. What about this? Let's switch gears a little bit. You're hitting leadoff. How is that for you? I want to hear about that because there's an art to it.
It's cool, man. Obviously, what's crazy is, as you know, like when you're hitting there or 2 or 3, wherever, you feel like you're getting that bat every inning until like the 6th inning. Like you're like, whether you're in the hole on deck or hitting, you're always there. And for me, I'm more of like old school when it comes to that. Where I like to see like pitches generally, and so for the first month I was walking like crazy to lead off. So it was
had like 11 walks to 11 walk. 11 game opening walk.
Right. So it's crazy.
Usually I did like a game opening walk. It's like, it feels so good.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I'm on first base. We got nobody out, and like, the arms that we're facing now are nasty. So you're like, all right, one of those out of the way right there, you're like, all right, like, whatever. If it's DeGrom or something, you're like, okay, you're on first base, you're helping the team out, whether it's Mason or Wilson coming up behind me. Donnie's obviously having a great year, but it's just, I don't know, man. You kind of have a different approach about it, but you try not to think about it too much because then you can get a little passive.
What about like Shohei's version of leadoff?
Yeah.
I feel like you got to be Shohei to do that, though.
Exactly. Right. And it's like, if I saw him the other day. It was 97 off in first pitch of the game when you guys were in Cleveland, and he went like 150.
Homer.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
I'm like,
the first game
I don't know if that's in my bag. So it's like, I'm gonna do what I think I can do well and see some pitches, know the zone a little bit. But you're right. Like, when Rizzo was doing it in Chicago for that little bit of time when he was doing it, Jock was doing it for a little bit. And, I think you just have to know your game and then kind of like really dive into that when you're in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, and like, hitting leadoff for so long for me now that I hit second,
right?
It's hard for me sometimes because Shohei, I want him to swing as much as possible.
Right.
Like he should, I don't want him to go up there and walk.
Right.
They're going to walk him, of course. I wholeheartedly understand it. I wouldn't pitch to him either, but, I want him to swing. And then obviously with Freddie behind me,
right,
I want him to swing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want these guys to swing as much as possible. And I'm so used to how I grew up is the same way you grew up as a leadoff hitter. Like we're kind of trying to see pitches, work your bat, get into the game a little bit.
Right.
Because like 5 and 6 pitch innings was not a thing.
And I don't know about for you guys, when I was in like little league and stuff going on, they had pitch counts too. So it's like if you were facing a guy, you're like, you want to, waste as many pitches as possible.
Yeah.
But so, for you, that's got to be
it's kind of tough to know, but I think I take responsibility and just kind of do it. But I don't know, like some part of me is like, it don't really matter because the pitcher is going to go, 80, 90 pitches, and whoever comes in after is going to be throwing 100.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you might as well just get your swings off. So I don't know. I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
With it. So
I know. And does it free you up when Shohei goes big fly or or single or double.
That makes it a lot easier.
You know?
That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
But like if he gets out on
one or two pitches,
and it's like, man,
you're in your head a little bit thinking about it.
And as soon as I've learned, like as soon as I start to get in my head thinking about it, you shut it down.
Take it.
I take it.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way.
Because it's like when you're just a little in between and you don't know if you want to swing at this pitch or not,
you can get ticked.
Yep. And you're gonna just miss it or whatever it is. And so I've learned to shut it down. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can change my ways and get some swings off. All right. So I do want to talk a little bit about you. You play in the WBC for Team Japan. Your mom is Japanese, right?
My mom is Japanese, yes.
And how was that? How was that growing up?
It was cool, man. It was like for me, it was the norm. But I think the more I left home and I understood like the bicultural nature of like my household, right? Like coming in, there's a little room where you put your shoes right away. Like there are no shoes in the house. And my mom was always cooking up like very traditional Japanese meals, and she a lot of the rules that we had were very like standard for Japanese, and so it was normal for me. But I think once I started to grow up and then learn more about my buddies and stuff, like it wasn't necessarily the norm, but that's all she knew growing up, and she came here, and then her mom and her dad are still in Japan, her sisters are in Japan, and her entire family is still in Japan. And so
do you go back and see them?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So growing up, we would go like once a year, and then once my brother got into high school, with sports and everything like that, it was getting tough. And then when I got to high school, they came over to the States and hung out with us, and so we were able to do that. But then when the WBC happened, we were really able to they were able to see me play for the first time, and we were able to go over there and hang out. And then now I go once a year, and it's kind of the cool thing is it's kind of connected our family more so than we ever had.
Oh, so it ended up being inadvertently doing something like that.
No doubt. And we communicate more. Like my mom always talked to them, but like for me, I mean, I can't say I communicate with them because I don't speak Japanese, but like I go there and see them, and we're able to hang out, and whether it's my mom or somebody from the agency that we fly over there with, like I'm spending time with them, seeing them, getting FaceTime with them, and my grandparents are getting older, so it's cool to be able to spend time.
So how does that conversation go if y'all can't speak? Like, is it just because I know like when I went to Japan, it's like you smile.
100%. Yeah, right.
But this is your family, so how do you do that with your family?
So it was so funny. So we went there last off season, and my grandpa can't hear that well. So I'm talking. So I'm looking at my aunt, but our interpreter from our agency's there, who has worked with Yamamoto and Roki and them, and so he's translated to my aunt. My cousin is sitting there with her baby, and they bring a whiteboard and a marker everywhere, and she's writing it down and then showing my grandpa. My grandpa then reads it, laughs, does whatever, says something back, and then it's like, so it was like 5 different people are translating this thing, but it's all for family. We loved it. It was great, but
so because of the WBC, I ain't gonna say because of the WBC, but it played a part. Your like fame level shot through the roof.
You could say because of the WBC. Yeah.
It did. Yeah. So tell me about your experience at the WBC, getting to play there, getting to play in front of your fam, getting to play with Shohei.
Yeah.
And Yoshi, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Roki. You got to play with all these guys.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Were you nervous?
Super nervous.
Yeah, me too when I was my first. Yeah.
Super nervous. Like you going over there, obviously being, Tommy too. Tommy was the first American-born Korean to play over there, and so I was the first American-born Japanese. And my mom was like, "Listen, there's certain things like you gotta you can and cannot do." And so I'm on the flight over, and I'm like, "Dude, I cannot embarrass my family. Like I cannot let Japan down. My family. Like this cannot go bad. Like if we lose, we lose. But like I can't do anything to disrespect my family.
What could that possibly be?
Just mannerisms, like the way you act.
Slam your helmet or something.
Do something like that,
okay.
or even like, you know, like simple, right, during the national anthem. Just like my mom was like, make sure you're doing all the right things. Like she's, you know, because she's like, it's, you know, the rules are different over there, you know. So I'm nervous, and there she's like, you better be respectful of the team. Everybody, like, they are all more important than you, you know, like kind of like you're the guest. And I'm like, all right, yeah, no. And I get over there, and Shohei comes over, and he's like, hey, how's your family? And I'm like, good. And then as I'm getting closer to these guys, you know, like Yoshi's taking me out to eat, and I'm talking to him, and I was like, hey, like, you know, my mom's telling me we're gonna be bowing to the field, and you know, before and after practice. And I was like, are we gonna be doing that? And they were like laughing, like, bro, your mom is so old school. Like, we don't do none of that anymore. Like, you know, it's more relaxed. So I was like, oh, okay, good. And you know, that part of it was cool. But, you know, what was really cool was that everybody saw Shohei, like, do his thing and, you know, with the Angels and stuff. But I feel like I benefited greatly from the WBC, but I thought he did too. Like, with the Trout and him battle at the end. You know, next year he goes out and wins AL MVP unanimously.
And there's like, everybody in the world wants to be famous, right?
Yeah.
Until you see a famous person have to live how they have to live their life, and how Shohei has to live is like, man, that kind of sucks.
Like the MJ doc that came out during COVID, where he's sitting there in his room smoking a cigar, like, I can't leave my room. Like, that's really him.
That's
like,
Shohei. That's literally him.
And you know.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, kudos to him. I mean, and listen, he handles it obviously amazingly, and he's happy and, you know, does everything. But yeah, in Japan, it's like he cannot move.
No, so
it's crazy.